Welcome to Live from the Heart podcast. I'm Anne-Claire Meret. I'm very happy to welcome you today and share with you some health tips that have been helping me staying full of vitality and healthy as I am today. I'm 40 years old. I've never been as healthy as now because I'm learning more and more how to take care of myself, and I'm very curious about how I can improve on a daily basis and take very good care of myself according to my needs and what works for me. So please take everything that I'm going to share with a grain of salt and keep what works for you and just leave what doesn't work for you. So when I say that I'm healthier now than I was in the past, there is a reason, because when I grew up as a child, I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of insomnia, and very often I had stomach issues. And I learned much later on that I am lactose intolerant and that it's hard for me to digest anything that's milky. And my parents were very much convinced by the ads and the French propaganda that we should indeed drink a lot of milk and eat cheese and yogurt and everything to be healthy kids. So it fucked up my guts. And also I was not breastfed and I was born by C-section, so probably I didn't benefit from the right flora when I came to life. So I started on that ground, with the insomnia also that my dad shared with me because he couldn't sleep, and I understood that this was the way to sleep, the way to be. And there was a lot of anxiety and fear in my household, and suicidal tendencies and many things, and it was not easy. Like, it was not easy. Still not easy, but I've taken another path, and now I created my own journey, and it's been about 12 years, and now, yeah, I feel very good in my skin. I feel good in my belly most of the time. I feel healthy. I feel vital. And actually, last year in 2023, I took a test. It's called age. And age tests your blood to test the markers of inflammation and let you know what's your physical age, biological age. And turns out that I'm 20 years old physically. And I can relate to that because I feel that I have a lot of vitality. I don't have much pain in my body on a daily basis. The only pain that I experience is more because of my posture in front of the computer. I have a bit of tensions here in my shoulder and neck, but it fades away if I sleep enough, if I get massages, if I stretch my body a little bit more. So it's nothing that I'm very much concerned about, and I don't have any other pain. So this is pretty awesome. Um, I took a lot of drugs when I grew up. I took a lot of sleeping pills, anxiety pills, antidepressant, many, many things. And also, I was on the pill between 18 to 29. So something like that, like 11, 12 years. So that was a lot. That was a lot for a young age. And I was very much afraid of being sick. So I had a big pharmacy at home, a lot of stuff. I was just taking stuff whenever I felt like it. So I've come a long way. And I was born in a family that didn't really believe in organic food, and yeah, all of that. So I really decided to take on another journey when I strongly made that choice. I mean, that was a choice, but I felt that I didn't much had a choice because I was feeling so bad. At 28, I decided to go to a hospital in France and had my sleep studied. And from that moment on, I understood, thanks to this hospital, which has the expertise about sleep, who sent me then to a naturopath who was also doing some meditation, biofeedback, and different things. I understood that because of the way I had learned to live my days, I had conditioned my nights, and my nights were hell because my days were not optimum. So I had to learn how to shift my days so that I could have an impact on my nights. And because I'm very much of a good student, I don't doesn't show, but I wear glasses. I'm very kind of nerdy and really attached to good results. I did everything that I was told to do, and within a few weeks and months, I could sleep better and better. So it didn't happen like this. It took a few months and then years to solidify. Today, I wouldn't call myself the best sleeper. I know a lot of people, they can just put their head on the pillow and they just fall asleep and it's super easy for them. I'm not one of those person, but it's no longer a real issue unless I travel and it's a new place, and every time that it's a new place, it requires an adjustment. But I think there are a lot of us which can relate to that, so it's not really an issue. And I don't make anymore a big deal out of the fact that I'm not sleeping. I've learned how to replenish during the day and have practices that help me feel vital. And it's kind of rare for me to feel very tired during the day. So it's great. It's pretty awesome because I know a lot of people who, although they sleep well at night, they don't feel rested and they don't feel vital to live their life and chase their dreams and accomplish everything that they want to accomplish. And I have a lot of vitality. So in order to sleep well, so that's, I would say this is the main ingredient. So after I discovered the tips that I needed to get better, I became a naturopath myself. So I trained, it took me 3 years and a half. It's not an official discipline in France. I had to learn it in a private school. It made me a health educator, not a doctor, like in the US, for example, or different countries. You have the title of an ND, naturopathic doctor. I'm a naturopath from France, and this is not the same degree. It's not official in France, although I share the same values and the same knowledge. It's just my background. Although today I don't practice naturopathy in a practice, like with clients, this is my basis. This is my ground. This is those principles help me every single day to just make my decisions and make my life better. So, thanks to that, I became who I am today. And if I had not discovered natural medicine, I would probably not be where I am today, meaning being a successful entrepreneur, a writer, someone who dares to speak her truth, because it brought me closer to who I really am to understand all of that. That's pretty amazing journey. And I believe that life is never against us. It's always trying to show us the way. And me having those health issues was really a wake up call, a way to show me that there was something to look at so that I could change things and so that I could improve and so that I could take responsibility for different domains in my life that I was overlooking, like, oh, okay, I can't do anything about it because the doctor said I cannot do anything about it, but actually I can do a lot. So it's a journey towards sovereignty, and we have always so much to learn about it. So sleep, going back to sleep, I go to bed pretty early. If I were alone, I would probably go to bed around 10 or 11 or maybe a little bit later. But because my husband is very much of a night, I don't remember how you say, when you go to bed early. Uh, so he takes me to bed with him. And I like it because it's cozy. And now we sleep with cats and I just read books. And since I've been with him since COVID, living together full time, I've read so many books because he falls asleep after one page and I get to read other pages. And it's just, yeah, it's great. It gives me time to reflect on my day, to invite gratitude exercises, to have a vision for the future, to read books. So it's just, yeah, I'm grateful for that. And now I get to cuddle cats. This is pretty nice. So, where I sleep is very important. I have linen bed sheets. It's very comfortable. I have organic pillows made out of an organic material. It's not too hot, not too cold in the room. I have a mosquito net because I live in Bali and there are mosquitoes. We live in an area which is pretty quiet and it's kind of non-negotiable. Like if the neighborhood becomes busy, then we're gonna go away. And now we're buying a house, and it's the same. If even if we bought the house, we're gonna sell the house. It's gonna be, yeah, non-negotiable. And yesterday, actually, I was having a conversation with Christian, and I said, "What if we can hear too much from the windows there to whatever is around?" I said, "Do you think we can make like a double window thing?" And like we have like one set of windows and then another set of windows. And he said, "I don't know if that's possible." And I said, "Everything is figure outable. It's just a matter of choosing what's the priority." And I agree with that. So yeah, so if sleep is a priority, you make it a priority. And then we wake up pretty much with the light because here it's bright between 5 and 6, but we have blackout curtains. But you know, we can hear what's happening outside. There are roosters, not too close, but a little bit further away. The dog is kind of agitated, and the kittens wake up. So it's really it's an interesting thing to see that I mean, the world is awake, so we wake up. But I'm someone who likes to stay in bed in the morning and sleep longer if I can. And if I can't, then I will just spend time with the kittens again and just journal and scroll on Instagram and start answering my emails. And I can easily spend hours in bed in the morning. And I've probably created my best posts and my best programs and my webinars and all of that from my bed in my pajamas in the morning. So this is, yeah, behind the scene, that's probably what has happened. And I've learned that the more I respect my energy, the better I am during the day. If I don't force myself to do stuff in the morning, which can be very different for other people, because I know a lot of people, my husband included, and other people, that if they don't have their right routine in the morning, meaning movement and coffee and breath work and meditation and reading pages and stuff, they're not on the right track, and then they're lost for the whole day. And that's not my case. I'm lost for the whole day if I feel forced to do anything in the morning. So I listen to myself. If I'm tired during the day, like last night, I didn't sleep well. I had something happen and I didn't sleep well. I do a power nap. So I can do that just like 15 minutes. It's easier if my husband is there and he holds me, and I just like fade away for 15 minutes and then he wakes me up. It also works well with the yoga nidra. So on YouTube, you can find a lot of yoga nidra. It's my favorite yoga, the only yoga I choose to do. It's just laying down and listening to a body scan with an intention, and then suddenly you let go and you rest, and it feels great. So I do that. I also have several massages per week, at least one, sometimes two or three. And usually I kind of disconnect, and it helps me get a reset too. So I like to do that. So sleep is one of the main pillars, and then movement. So I'm not big into sport, but I'm okay with that. I don't hurt myself like pushing myself to go to the gym if I don't want to. I go to the gym. I've been going to the gym for the past 4 months. I would say maybe 1 to 3 times in a week, which is pretty good for me. I go mainly for the spa, let's be honest. I do sauna, hammam, and I do a little bit of sport, like a half hour. I would do a bit of cardio, I would do a bit of the machines, I would lift weights, things like that, and that's already more than enough for me. And I'm okay with that for now. But I'm 40 and I know that I'm going towards menopause, and I want to transition gracefully. And I also want to have stronger muscles. I want to have stronger bones. So this is a wish for me to really familiarize with the gym and go more and more. And then just, yeah, maybe in my 50s, I'll be even more fit than now because I have more muscles. And it might happen, but I'm not pushing it. I'm putting myself in the right position so that I want to do more and more of that. And the funny thing is that my husband was very much into gym, and he was very strong in his 20s, and he came back to it like a few years ago, so he got really strong again. And also have a boyfriend. I have two relationships, and he's a fitness instructor. So I guess I take it as a sign that when life brings you people around you who have those values and make the time for themselves, obviously they want to drag you to the gym. They want you to be the best fitness version of yourself, fit version of yourself, and everything. So I understand what life is sending me as a message, and I also take it one step at a time. Voila. I dance. I love dancing. I do Brazilian zouk. I take private classes. Sometimes I go to social dancing. I also dance with my partners. And so this is part of the movement that I do. There is also lovemaking and all of that. It's included, it counts. And there's also the steps that I do every day. And actually, I'm going to answer your questions afterwards because I got a lot of questions in the stories from Instagram. And somebody asked me, how do you do 10,000 steps in a day? Well, I make the space for it. 10,000 steps in a day is not so long. It's just, for me, I think it's a little bit more than an hour. Sometimes I do it in one time. I go for like 1 hour 15 and I do my 10,000 steps. Some, oh, not 10,000 steps, I mean 9,000, because during the day I do at least 1,000 steps at home. I have stairs, I go here and there, the house is big. I do stuff, unless you're really sitting the whole day, you do steps every day. And sometimes I go twice a day. I'll go half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, plus the steps that I do at home during the day. I'm easily at 10,000. But I don't drive. So this is something that's important to understand too. I don't drive motorbike, I don't drive cars, and so every time that I have to go somewhere, either I have to order transportation or someone needs to take me, or I walk. And my preferred choice is walking. Although it's not easy in Bali because there are no sidewalks and it's a little bit dangerous, but that's my choice, and I believe it keeps me healthy. And I think my body proves it because I don't do so much effort, and I still look very fit, and I still feel very fit, and I'm still the same weight than when I was 18 years old. I'm still about 49 kilos. I'm 157 centimeters, and 57 157. um and yeah, so it keeps me fit, just having daily movement. And I think a lot of people forget about it and they want to go to the gym and push it. But every day, do they have something really that keeps it moving? And this is super important. I also often do some detoxing periods. So it can be just eating lighter or doing mono diet, which means you eat the same thing for the whole day for 2 or 3 days. And recently I've discovered Zen Cleans, which is a company based in Taiwan, and they have products based with created with enzymes, and it's like super pure products, and they have monks chanting to the products, and it's just beautiful. And I've been willing to try them for years, but I used to live in Costa Rica before, and it was complicated to get them just shipped there and the customs and everything. But now that I live in Bali, I can receive them more easily. So I did the colon, intestines and liver cleans, and then I did the lungs cleans, and then I did the blood and the lymph, and now I'm currently doing the kidneys. So I would say that the one which was the most impressive was the first one, and that's the reason why we always start with this one as the first one, because you have to clean the gut in order to be able to clean the rest. And yeah, it is a week that it's better to stay at home because you're going to run to the toilet many times, you're going to flush your liver, you're going to not eat, but you're not going to be hungry because it fills you up with the sachet that are offered in the package. So it's pretty easy. It's a bit pricey, but to me it's worth it. I could feel that I felt great after those detoxes. So I keep doing them, I keep ordering their products. So it means something is working for me. I'll ask my team to put the link in the description. Then I eat pretty healthy. I'm not into any kind of diet except avoiding dairies and eating quality food. So, what's important to me is the sources of the food. So, we order mostly organic food, grass fed meat, we're careful with the eggs, all of those things. We're like super careful with the sauces. Sometimes we cook at home and sometimes we order in restaurants, and when we order in restaurants, it's never the cheapest restaurants. It's really the restaurants where you can feel they love quality products and they put a lot of love in what they do. And that's a choice. It's one of our main expenses, and I eat twice a day, and my meals are not cheap because I don't want to be cheap with something which is that important. This is like one of the main expenses, but I'm okay with that because this is what we're made of. So yeah, I usually have 2 meals, mostly 2 meals. I eat in morning eggs, sometimes bacon, sometimes different kind of meat, a little bit of sourdough bread, and then sometimes a bit of salad or greens that I have, and sometimes a fruit, or sometimes fermented food, something like that, so that I have something raw. I like to start my day with a ginger tea. I never drink coffee. I never drink alcohol. I never had a cigarette in my life. I'm basically Snow White. So this is also explaining why I look young and all of that. Although I had a lot of insomnia and stress in my life, I do believe that my life choices kept me healthy and young looking. And I don't know if this is something you can reverse if you've abused your body for many years. Maybe I believe you can do a lot of things, but yeah, whatever your choices are. Mine were pretty obvious to me. And then I eat later in the afternoon. Sometimes, I don't know, between 2 and 6, 7 max. I try to avoid eating late, like 8 or 9. It's more, 5 is good. I like 5. Like before going to sunset at the beach, for example, 5 is great. And I eat protein, and then I eat, I don't know, whatever I have. It can be fries. Sometimes I order fries, sometimes I order a salad, sometimes it's bread again. I love carbs, I eat carbs. Although my lovers, they're just loving eating meat with meat, and try to avoid some carbs and stuff like that. But they're not extreme, but a little bit more than me. Uh, I believe there is an intelligence in intuitively knowing what's right for me and just respecting that and stopping to eat when I'm not hungry anymore. I don't push it. Sometimes it's not so easy because I want a little bit more, but I understand that by respecting my body and my limits, then this is how I also maintain balance in my weight, in my health. That's why I'm not so tired after eating. And this is all about balance and harmony with what works for me. I tried. I'm gonna speak in the past because I used to not eat dessert. Like I would wait to eat something sweet at another time because that's what I learned with naturopathic medicine, and and then I shifted that somehow recently. So now I usually have something sweet at the end. So it's not been a long time. It's been just a few months, but it's still working for me. So I keep going. I keep doing it. Whatever works, I keep. Um, I eat much more protein than I used to eat, just because my husband cooks and eats more protein. So I'm just following him. It works for me. I don't have any more strong PMS syndrome, and I used to have pain in my boobs, and I don't have any more pain. uh, I feel that it kind of rebalanced something. It's yeah, more protein was a good match for me, and I'm doing it. I don't do it from a place of mental, like okay, I've read that this is better and this is also better for him or her or whatever. I listen to how I feel and then I implement the changes. I choose to keep the changes if they work for me. So this is very important. Um, yeah, I try to not eat in the evening late because then that will keep me awake. And this is very important, especially if you've suffered from insomnia and things like that. Anything that is keeping the body unsettled, just because you're busy with digestion and yeah, you're heavy and all of that, then avoid it. If you know how it works, just better avoid it. What I like to use is the hot water bottle. I use it on the right side and it helps me. It helps my liver. It just helps my overall digestive system to function better. And sometimes one drop of mint, essential oil of mint, or ginger tea. Ginger tea is always my go-to. Then, what else? I go in the sun every single day and I go in the sun without sunscreen because this is damaging for me and for the environment. But my skin is not white. So, please, if your skin is white, you have to do differently. I try to go to the in the sun in the morning before it's too hot. Sometimes I don't manage to do it because I spend too much time in bed, but that's okay. And I go too late, but that's okay. I can protect my shoulders and I wear a cap so I protect my face and everything. But otherwise, I try to go early morning and then I go late in the evening so that the sun is not too hot. And I get sunbathing every day, which creates a beautiful skin, but also give me a lot of vitamin D and also just supercharge me. And we need the sun. And I really realized it when I lived in Berlin during COVID for way too long for me. And I was so depressed. And I didn't want to go out because there was no sun sometimes for days and days and days. And I was at home and it was so cold. And yeah, I would just not go because going to the park meant walking in between naked trees, zero sun, under the rain, on the snow. That was like hell for me. And I used to think that it was kind of in French we say caprice. I don't know how you say it in English. It's like you want something, but it's kind of something that you, um, yeah, I'm not going to find the word. It's okay. um, I used to think that going in the sun was more of a vacation thing, and there was a bit extra. And then I had to acknowledge that this was really a need of mine, and that if I really respect my need, then I move there where I feel better. And since I've done it, and I remember having this conversation because before COVID, I was always traveling to the tropics many months a year. And then after COVID, I told my husband, I said, we have to move back to the tropics. Otherwise, I'm going to die and just like dry up from the inside. I need the luxurious humidity. I need the sun. I need all of that. I need not to be worrying about wearing a coat and so many layers all the time and having my skin never exposed to the sun. So it's not a luxury. It's not extra to choose what's right for you. And I had to just give this gift to myself, and I never regretted it. And the more I choose myself, the more life rewards me with amazing things afterwards. So this was about sun. And then the mindset, obviously, I do what I love what I do. And this is, yeah, just super important. I get up in the morning, I'm excited about what I'm going to create. I work with people I love. I have great friendships. I've cut cords with people who are not so good for my life. I don't like to talk about I don't like to use the word toxic, but sometimes there are toxic relationships, even though I don't believe there are toxic people. There are toxic relationships and just dynamics. And sometimes it's just better to cut that off and choose new people. And the world is big enough. And when we make the space and we really align to who we are and speak our truth and our needs, then the right people show up. And it always happened to me. And now I'm beautifully surrounded by people who believe in me and who are also taking care of themselves, which I think is very important. Having an environment of people who take care of themselves changes everything, because you cannot really sleep for a long time and not take care of yourself, because you want to keep that to the same standards like the people who surround you. It's just so obvious and so beautiful to do it together. This is so important. And then what else? Well, where I live, it's kind of very much polluted because I live in the middle of the rice fields. Although it's very close to the beach, so I also get the fresh air from the beach and the beach walks every day. But I'm surrounded by rice fields, so we have an air purifier inside of the house because of the chemicals they use and because of the fact that they're burning every few months all the crops, and so it's just like smoke, and this is very unhealthy. So now we have an air purifier. um, in the house that I'm currently in, I didn't choose everything, so the textiles and the paintings and the painting on the wall and everything, probably a lot of toxic stuff had been used. Also, it's a very new house, so they're kind of the first people living here, so we're in touch with this every day. Wow, we can't control all the poison that's around us, and we can only do our best to detoxify it. We have a water filter, which is kind of a luxury, but I mean, I really need one. Like, this is super important just for the shower. Taking the shower that you bathe in everywhere in Bali. So please know that if you go on vacation, the water from the tap is non-drinkable, but also if you bathe in it, like in a bath and in the shower and everything, there are so many bacteria. It's just not nice. So we have a water filter, so we can wash the veggies and things like that from the tap. I would not drink that water because it's not good enough, but it's already good to shower and take a bath, which is pretty good. As I said, we can't control everything, but we can be aware and we can make choices. So that's what we do. That's it. That's the main thing that I wanted to share. And then I'm gonna answer some questions. Oh, massages. Yeah, I get massages every week, several times. I really like. I'm really much into lymphatic massages, and I love relaxing massages too, and reflexology, and I do them often too. But since December, since I've done the lymph and blood detox, with Zen Cleans, I started to do a few lymphatic massage in a row. And since then, I just fell in love with a place called Lymphatic by Carla here in Chengdu. And I go one time in a week. So I have my routine that I go to the spa, to the lymphatic massage, and then I go to the gym. I do a half-hour gym, and then I go sweat. So this is like a combination that works really well for me, and it makes me feel super good afterwards. Okay, so the questions that I've received. Do I still use red light therapy? How do I use it? So we have a red light device called Juvie that we bought when we were in Costa Rica from, we had it shipped from the US. It's like a panel this size that we can use for the upper body or any area of the body that we need it. I don't really use it anymore. We used to use it every evening just in the bedroom. But now we have a red light bulb in the bedroom, so we use the red light bulb, and also we have reading red lights to attach to our books. Um, so we do that. I don't want to use the big red light in the evening in the bedroom because we have kitties now, and we can't protect their eyes. And you're supposed to protect your eyes when you use the red light. So I can use it in another room, which I do when I feel like I'm getting a cold or something like that. I always start by using the red light and like work on that. Also, if my skin is not so smooth and stuff, I will use it to improve my skin. And yeah, that's mainly why I would use it now. It's when I feel a bit sickish or if I want to improve my skin. So that's what I do. I did experience a full panel, full body red light to a place called, I think it's Rejuvo Life in Chengdu. It was really nice just standing in front of this huge panel, the whole body, feeling the red light pulsating. It was a nice experience. So yeah, I can imagine that later on when we will have a full on, so in the next home, we're going to have a sauna, cold plunge, and maybe other things like a biohacking room. Why not having like a full panel red light therapy or whatever? I also would like to have a massage table so that I can find great masseuses that would come in my place. So that would be awesome. So yeah. Next questions. Tips. No, I mean that I already answered. Sorry. What changed the most my life? I would say learning what works for me, not listening to people's advices and understanding that I'm my own doctor and that I need to be curious and that I can learn about it and that I don't have to trust blindly the people who are wearing just the white coat. And quite often they don't know better. They know better about drugs, but they don't know better about health. And if you want to know better about health, you have to learn to be curious about what you really need to be healthy on a daily basis. And you have to be willing to try stuff. And some of the stuff are going to be very uncomfortable. Some of them are going to be very pleasant. And you just keep going and you just keep keeping what works for you. I would say that what was the most valuable for me. How did I evolve with food? I would say for me, the main evolution was the quality of the food because I didn't always wonder about the quality of the food, especially in my early 20s when I started to live alone. And I really had to discover naturopathy to learn about, grass-fed meat and to learn about pesticides and the veggies and the fruits and the processed food and all of that stuff. I had to learn that. So before in my 20s I made a lot of mistake, and then when I trained in naturopathy I was eating more and more organic. So my journey only started about 12 years ago, really. My chance, I would say, is that I was never overeating. I was never, yeah, in the extreme. So I was never vegan and maybe lacking some stuff. I'm sorry if I say that and some vegans get hurt, but I think veganism is great for a lot of people on a short period of time, but on a long period of time, it's not a good fit for everyone. It's for all of the people who are vegan. Some of them yes, and some others no. And so I was never in the extreme. I was always an omnivore. I was always stopping to eat when I was eating enough, like things like that, which I think kept me overall healthy. And then I switched towards more quality products and making really choices that were, yeah, more expensive, but also so much more rewarding for my overall health. Um, okay, do I recommend any resources? Yeah, you can follow a lot of people online. I really love Dr. Bradley Campbell, for example. I have a podcast with him I recorded about maybe a year and a half ago. I really love him. He's a sweetheart, and he's a chiropractic doctor, but also I think some kind of naturopath or nutritionist and many other things. And he's a truth teller, and he's a freedom fighter. And yeah, I really like his tips. So Dr. Bradley Campbell. What else? Can positive thinking help? Of course, positive thinking help. I didn't mention it, but just the fact that I went to therapy for many years and then I'm still doing coaching. I'm a coach myself. I coach others. I have coaches. All of that obviously is beneficiating my health because the way I think impacts everything in my body. And it's funny because I used to think that it was more noble to be a naturopath and an EFT practitioner because I was doing healing work. And then when I learned about coaching, I thought, oh, but coaching is about ambition. It's about quite often making more money and just chasing your dreams and going forward. And it's kind of pushy and all of the things. And I realized that coaching is all about the way you think. And if you think differently, then you can truly take care of yourself and from the right space. And that changed everything to me. So then I stopped having a practice in naturopathy and I became a full-time coach because the more I think healthy, the more I am healthy. So this is super important to understand. Okay, is there any other question? No, that's it. I think I've been over all the main questions that were asked to me. I would gladly do another episode about health if you have other questions. So you can just send them to us via Instagram, for example, or use the question box when we do stories and things like that. And we're always happy. I'm a generator in the human design. So whatever you send my way will give me ideas and I'll just be happy to share about that. I wrote many books about naturopathy and just health in general. Most of them are in French, so I invite you to check on Amazon and check out my books. They're all over. So, Naturopathy for Dummies, it's only in French, but yeah, it's like a Bible about where to start about health. I send you lots of love and I wish you a beautiful, healthy day. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it around you and to your community and friends. And yeah, spread the word that it's always possible to improve your health and your vitality. And then once you've done it, then you can fully live from the heart. See you on another episode.